Ever wondered how to make your podcast sound professional and polished? Welcome to the fascinating world of podcast editing, where we delve into the nitty-gritty of turning good content into great. Today, we're going to uncover some advanced techniques that will help you achieve a seamless, refined sound. We'll be looking at seamless transitions, the art of removing filler words, and how to create a polished final product that will captivate your listeners. So, buckle up and get ready. Strap in, things are about to get exciting. Scene script. First up, creating seamless transitions, the key to keeping your listeners hooked. Imagine listening to a symphony where every note is perfectly in sync, creating a beautiful melody. Now consider your podcast as that symphony, and the notes are your content segments. Just as a jarring note can disrupt the melody, a poorly executed transition can disrupt the flow of your podcast. That's where seamless transitions come in. Seamless transitions are those cleverly crafted links that bind your content together, making your podcast sound like one continuous natural conversation. They are crucial in maintaining your listeners' attention and preventing them from hitting that dreaded skip button. Now, how do you create these seamless transitions? It starts with good planning and scripting. Planning your content ahead of time allows you to structure your podcast in a way that each segment flows naturally into the next. Scripting, on the other hand, helps you articulate your thoughts more coherently, ensuring that your transitions are not abrupt or disjointed. Next, let's talk about the role of editing software. Most modern editing software have features that allow you to blend segments together, creating a seamless transition. You can adjust the volume levels, overlap audio tracks, or even use transition effects to make the change from one segment to the next more fluid. However, be wary of overdoing it. A common mistake is to overuse transition effects, which can make your podcast sound overproduced and artificial. Remember, the goal is to make the transition sound as natural as possible. Finally, practice makes perfect. It might take a few tries to get the hang of creating seamless transitions, but with patience and persistence, you'll soon be able to craft transitions that are smooth and engaging. Remember, smooth transitions are all about the flow. It should feel like a natural conversation, not a jigsaw puzzle. So, keep practicing, keep tweaking, and before you know it, you'll have mastered the art of creating seamless transitions in your podcasts. Next on the agenda, the art of removing filler words. Yes, even the best of us say and more than we'd like to admit. Filler words are those little sounds or words we utter when we're thinking, pausing, or hesitating. They're words like like, you know, and so. While these words can make our speech sound natural and conversational, they can also clutter our message and distract our listeners. In a podcast where every word counts, these filler words can disrupt the flow and impact of your content. So, how do we tackle these pesky intruders? The first step is to spot them. You'll need to listen closely to your recording and identify these fillers. They're often found in between thoughts or sentences. Keep an ear out for them, and don't be surprised if you find more than you anticipated. It's a common challenge for speakers of all levels. Once you've identified these filler words, it's time for a little audio surgery. Using your editing software, you can highlight the section of the track where the filler word lies and hit delete. Be careful though, you want to remove the word without disrupting the natural rhythm of your speech. Now you might be thinking, surely there's a way to avoid these filler words in the first place. And you're absolutely right. One effective strategy is to embrace the pause. Instead of filling the silence with an or an allow for a moment of quiet. This not only helps you gather your thoughts, but also adds a dramatic effect to your podcast. Another approach is to practice mindful speaking. This involves being aware of your speech patterns and consciously avoiding filler words. It's a skill that takes time to develop, but it can significantly improve your podcasting prowess. Finally, remember that perfection isn't the goal here. A few filler words here and there can make your podcast sound authentic and relatable. It's about striking a balance between clarity and naturalness. With practice, you'll be able to cut those filler words down to a minimum, making your podcast sound sharper and more professional. Finally, let's talk about how to create a polished final product that your listeners will love. We've all heard the saying, the devil is in the details, right? Well, nowhere is that more true than in podcasting. It's the little things that can take your podcast from good to great. Let's start with audio quality. This is non-negotiable. If your listeners struggle to hear you, or if there's a lot of background noise, they're likely to switch off no matter how great your content is. So, invest in a good quality microphone and make sure to record in a quiet, echo-free environment. Next, consistency is key. Your listeners should know what to expect when they tune in. That means maintaining a consistent audio level throughout your podcast. No one wants to be constantly adjusting their volume. Use an audio normalizer to ensure all your sounds are at the same level. Now let's add a little spice to your podcast with music and sound effects. But remember, less is more. Your music should enhance your content, not distract from it. So choose tunes that match your podcast's tone and mood and use them sparingly. And when it comes to sound effects, only use them when they add value or help tell your story. Finally, before you hit that publish button, take the time to review and test your podcast. Listen to it with headphones, in the car, on a speaker. Basically, try to replicate how your listeners might be tuning in. This will help you catch any last-minute issues like uneven sound levels or awkward transitions. So, there you have it, folks. By focusing on audio quality and consistency, balancing your sound levels, adding just the right amount of music and effects, and thoroughly reviewing your final product, you can create a podcast that not only sounds professional but also truly resonates with your listeners. And there you have it, a shiny, polished podcast ready to impress your listeners. So, there you have it, the key to a professional and polished podcast. We've journeyed through the art of mastering seamless transitions, the craft of meticulously removing filler words, and the skill of creating a polished final product that is both engaging and high quality. These advanced editing techniques are the secret sauce to take your podcast from good to great. Remember, practice makes perfect. Keep refining your technique, and soon you'll be producing podcasts like a pro. Happy editing.